Hey guys, welcome to the Our Thoughts on This podcast. I'm Jason,
I'm Alex.
I'm Ollie.
I'm Drakari.
and today we'll be talking about our favorite cartoons from childhood, animated shows, all of that. So, before we get into this topic, I just really wanted you guys to kind of like when we think of animated shows or when we think of animated things from our childhood, what are some like examples that you guys give off of like kind of like how do I phrase this of like top tier animated shows? Or it doesn't have to be shows, it could be movies too. I keep saying shows, but it could be movies too.
And when we say childhood, what do you mean? Like, what age is our childhood?
What age is our childhood? I mean, up until you're 18. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. I mean,
Okay.
really, childhood. I guess people really think of when you're younger, but there are some animated movies I want to talk about today that I didn't watch until I was an adult or closer to that age that really affected me intensely. And I do want to bring those up as well. So let's say from the time you were a wee lad until you were 18.
Hmm.
I know Ollie here is a fan of a little show called Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Boy, I love that show. I love it so much. Um, when did I start watching that? I think I was 9 or 10, and I saw it. When I first saw it, I just saw like a random episode, and I was like, "What is this?" And they were like doing a marathon on Nick. Um, of like that first two seasons were out at that time, and I just stayed up and watched all of it. I fell in love with it instantly. I think it was just like the concept of powers that like I don't know. At that point in my life, I haven't like seen that yet. Like the way that they had like elemental powers, but yeah, that just seemed really cool to me.
Yeah, so I think Avatar: The Last Airbender is really good because I feel like that's kind of people's first introduction to um like anime, right? Like it's not like that show is anime adjacent. It's not straight anime, but it has lots of similar themes, similar dare I say art style. Some people
I
might
mean, I feel
like
like
crucify me for that, but
for that, like at least regarding like to anime, I feel like Teen Titans is what did that for a lot of people. I mean, I guess they came out around the same time. So
Yeah.
yeah, around the same time. Dude, Teen Titans was so formative for me just as a child. That show is pure like that's childhood right there to me. Everything about that show. Um, man, that floods me. Do you remember the animated movie for that? Was Trouble in Tokyo?
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the video game like the PS2 they had?
Yeah, video
No,
game?
I didn't know there was a
Yeah,
video game.
there was a PS2 game. I had it. I lost it somewhere along the line, but there was a PS2. It was basically like you're playing, and it's like they know they're a show, and you're controlling them while they're playing in like a fictional version of like the Teen Titans show. It's like they know it's a show.
Hmm.
Oh man, I have to find that. That's
I forgot the name of it. It's um. So like I know for this discussion, I know we said cartoons, but like I know for me, something I was thinking about was like Power Rangers. I know that's live action, but like I feel like that's one of those shows for me that was very like, okay, this is like super like this is like something that like I have to watch every Saturday or else I'm gonna feel like I missed out.
Yeah, and a lot of animated shows were kind of influenced by Power Rangers too. Just I mean, Power Rangers is like one of those things that is cyclical in its inspiration. Like Power Rangers gets its inspiration from Super Sentai, and the Super Sentai gets its inspiration from American comics. So it's like all it all kind of
Yeah.
rolls back into each other.
Yeah.
Um, so Ali, you're I know you're super big into Avatar: The Last Airbender, and just so people know, Avatar: The Last Airbender came first. So when I say Avatar, I'm not talking about the stupid blue people because those movies sucked. Um, what was another one for you? Because I mine are gonna be kind of weird for people because I I went from just cartoons to anime and like I was like five cartoons and I'm like six watching anime. So I just skipped that like that whole. If I got back into cartoons with like regular show and Adventure Time were out.
Mhm. Another one for me that I found around the time of Avatar is Chalk Zone. So
Oh yeah.
it's about a kid who who like finds this magic piece of chalk and he makes like a doorway and he like enters this whole world where everything is chalk and he like has a little companion over there too. It's it's really stupid but a lot of fun. Um if I don't think it's on like any streaming services. There's not a lot of people who know about it. Um but it is really good if you can find it. It's a good watch. It kind of reminds me of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Oh, that's a classic.
It's pretty much I think Foster's is like influenced by that really heavily.
I bet you it probably has the same people between it. Probably. I find that a lot of shows I really like are all from similar people.
Mhm.
So like something I really like growing up. We mentioned the first Teen Titans. Um, there's a lot of 3D stuff in here too. Do you guys remember Code Lyoko?
No,
Have you
Uh,
ever heard of that?
I've never heard of that.
It, it
sounds a little.
is.
Explain it a little bit.
Yeah, so it was like a French 3D anime that I was really into as a kid. It was let me pull up. I know the audience won't see this, but I'll pull up a picture just so you guys can see it. It's but this might jog your memory of it. It was on Cartoon Network,
Well,
Code
now that we're on
Lyoko.
YouTube, I will drop a picture in.
Oh yeah, we're on YouTube now. We'll drop a picture. Yeah. Let me see if I can find an image. Yeah, so this show and Yu-Gi-Oh for me were the two shows where I was like, oh, I like anime. Like I like anime. This is fun. And I'll send it in our Discord too so you guys can see it. Paste. Like that show, especially Yu-Gi-Oh! I was super big into Yu-Gi-Oh! And Beyblade a lot growing up. Those three
Oh,
shows were really
yeah.
formative in terms of, like with the type of characterizations I like. Like I really like shows where there's four main protagonists. However, you always have the guy who's the hothead. You've got the smart nerdy character. Then you got the girl who everybody thinks is weak, but she's super powerful. Then you got the main character who's normally a dude who's like who's good at what he does, but he always gets beat up in the beginning. Um, oh, it's $81 for a PSP game. Um, so though that show, dude, everybody knows about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh, the original run of Yu-Gi-Oh, up until like Yu-Gi-Oh 3Ds was like I was in there like swimmer, bro. I was in there buying cards. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I had the Yu-Gi-Oh games on my PSP, bro. I was into
Were
it.
you
I was
bigger?
like,
Like, was Yu-Gi-Oh for you bigger than Pokemon? Or
although I hated Pokemon, bro. I hated Pokemon. I like people say, "Oh yeah, you come over to my house and play Pokemon." I was like, "You play Pokemon, you loser! It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Blue eyes, white dragon, son. What are you talking about?
I
It
could
was
just
just
never figure
Squirtle.
out Pokemon.
Well, Pokemon the card game is terrible. Yu-Gi-Oh is a much better card
Yeah.
game. You can hate me for it, but it's true.
I think if I had been able to understand the card game, I would have cared about the show more.
Dude, I like the show, but Ash always like up until recently, Ash just always lost. So I was never like he never became like. But did he just win his first gym championship like last year or something? Have been never doing a
I think
different
didn't he just
character.
become the like whatever the main prize is in
Yeah,
Pokemon?
So
yeah.
you gotta
Like
be
No,
all
he's
the
won.
gyms.
He's won a gym championship like in the past. He's now become whatever Takari was saying.
Oh, okay. Well, then that like I've never been into that. And then the Yu-Gi-Oh Beyblade. Beyblade was similar to me because what I really liked about Beyblade is what I realized about a lot of the shows I like growing up is that they also sold you toys. So um,
yeah.
and those were the best shows. Like if I could get the toy for it too, like the '03 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show. Come on now, come on now. Like who doesn't like the '03 Turtles?
I
Is
much
that the
prefer
one
the
where they
original
went
one
to the
from
future?
'86.
You prefer the original
Or
animated
sorry,
show?
from '87 to '96. That's the one that I grew up watching. I feel like we had like it must have been a VHS or a DVD or something, but that's the one that I grew up watching.
Dude, I loved the '03 Turtles, man, because and that and then the '07 animated movie where it's like, oh man, I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
That was it for me. What about you? Or sorry, I was cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what about? I was gonna throw it to Chikari, but Alex, I feel like you had something to say.
No. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm throwing it to you, Chikari.
Yeah. I do remember the 2000. Just kind of harping, going back to that for a second. Is the 2003 one where they go to the future or they get sent to the
Yeah,
future for that little bit? Okay,
yeah.
because I had like
Turtles
a
in Time.
Michelangelo toy of that one where you had like the little like hard light nunchucks or whatever. But yeah, I think for me, just thinking about seminal cartoons, I grew up very much, Saturday morning cartoons, WB Kids, whatever I think CW was called like what the Vortex, right? Is that what their
Yeah,
thing was called?
they
So
were called
yeah,
the Vortex.
and especially early in the mornings, like before school, when I wake up and just turn on the TV. In one show, I feel like most people haven't heard of it, but it was called Hero 108. I don't know if any of you even heard of that, but
Oh
like
I've
yeah,
never
I
heard of
remember
that.
that.
it
I
would come
remember that.
on at like 6 a.m. in the mornings on like weekdays. So I just watch it as I get dressed for school. It's basically just like this guy. Like it's so the show is so weird. So it's basically like these like it's like I kind of based in like Chinese kind of lore or whatever, but it's basically like these people, these like kind of like Chinese characters or whatever. They're basically defending their land from like evil monsters and stuff like that. But that's one that like really stuck out to me. And then
They look like little like Funko Pop things.
yeah, if you've looked at like Hero 108, like yeah, they look like just very distinctive characters. And I think I don't know, it was just something. It was just on, and I just watched it a lot because it was there. But another cartoon show for me that like I really stands out to me is what was it called? What's that like the team from the future in DC Comics, like they had a cartoon show on WB.
Oh,
Trying to
Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, the Legion of Superheroes. Yes, they had a show, and I
Yeah, well,
watched that every
Superman was
Saturday. I
on
like
it.
that shit. Yeah, it was when he was like younger or whatever, and like Lightning Lad became like one of my favorite characters from that show. Like Lightning Lad is so cool. Like he loses his arm and becomes like basically just like a guy with a robotic arm who shoots lightning. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think for me like with cartoon shows, like I don't know, I think they all like there's so many that like stick out to me, but like I think other than that, like the main one is like may probably Static Shock. Static Shock is like and Batman
oh
Beyond.
yeah,
Those were the two for me where like cause like I had Batman Beyond Return of the Joker on DVD and that one
hmm
like really like that was I think that was like honestly one of the first pieces of superhero media I ever really like watched really like
yeah.
that.
The
And
Bruce Tim
so
universe.
Right. I
I
was
will
going to talk
say
about that,
probably.
but yeah.
I was gonna say that universe just by itself is probably what I don't feel like we would have the MCU and the DCU and all that stuff. If it wasn't for Bruce Timm, because he was the first kind of show where I remember like starting with Batman the animated series and Superman the animated series, where it's all a connected universe. But Alex, we're getting ready to say something.
Yeah, the Superman animated series to Justice League and then Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah,
And then I
that's
think there's
exactly
the
what I was going to
animated
say. I was
movie
going to say
between
that
two.
The Green
my
Lantern show.
memory of cartoons really comes back to like I definitely saw cartoons when I was younger. And I think there was like SpongeBob or maybe like Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron, that type of stuff. But when I really started watching like a lot of like cartoons, it was really superhero based, and it was all because we had just gotten like Netflix when Netflix first started streaming. And so watching all of the animated series, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, Adventures of Superman, I mean like all of that stuff. I mean, and then on the Marvel side watching Spider-Man and his amazing friends and like the Marvel Superhero Squad, all of those are like
Superhero
old,
Squad was classic.
of course. Superhero Squad being the exception, but everything else was like way before we were born. But it was still like that's when I started watching that stuff
I mean,
because it was then available on streaming.
that Avengers show they had on Disney XD. I'm forgetting the name, but well, do you guys remember the name? Not the
It
one
was
that they
literally
made
just
after the
called.
MCU,
It
but
was
like
good.
I think
Earth's
like
Mightiest Heroes. I think it was
Earth's
just
Mightiest
called.
Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just called Earth Mightiest Heroes. That's phenomenal. That's like maybe one of the best animated shows ever made. Like it's really good. I rewatched all of it recently. Like how they handled the Skrull invasion, like how they handle pretty much like every major comic book arc is really good. Like to me, like it's on par with like a lot of those older like DC animated shows. You know, it was a really good
It's
show.
better than the
Do you
current
think
MCU right now.
So
do you think Disney could have incorporated that into their
Oh, they should have.
cinema or
to the
Marvel? I should
MCU,
say.
like with the cartoon show. I
Yeah.
mean, they kind of did that with Avengers Assemble, but like they only did it kind of like in style, like the style. Like it looked like it was a part of MCU, but it wasn't. But I think if they like with What if they had done something like that where they use like animation to fill in the gaps for character stories instead of like, I mean, not that the shows are bad. Well, some of them are, but you know, I think animation could really be helpful. Like kind of what they're doing with like What If. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, but like how they have What If and they're using that as a means to like tell stories within the MCU in a different manner. They could do that with a lot of other characters in a very cool way. So I think animation has so much untapped potential for them and for the MCU at least, and they're just kind of like not doing a lot with it. Because right now I think the only Marvel cartoon out right now is maybe Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and I think that's like it. Like that's all. Like I think maybe like the Hulk has
Yeah.
a show, but I think
I
that's
mean,
it.
there's
No,
there's
Hulk
kid
has a
stuff like little children stuff, but in
Yeah.
terms of like
Yeah,
And then
yeah. I
there's
think like
that.
Spider-Man and his like amazing friends or whatever.
Yeah, where they
Is that what that
renamed
show's called? I
Miles
know
Morales
Miles
to
is Gwen, is
Spidey.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that. I think that makes sense for children. Like I think for children that's okay. Like for a permanent name change, Spidey is kind of doo garbage.
Yeah.
right.
Dude, don't even get me started on, they're trying to make Spider-Man sidekick a thing. But I don't. Today's not episode is not. We're not here to
Yeah.
talk about that today. We're not
There's
here to
one
talk
more.
about
I don't know if it's been talked about, but a
Yeah.
big cartoon from my childhood was Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
that. Oh, of
Oh,
course.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We weren't gonna forget that.
bro. I could watch Clone Wars forever. Bad Batch though, I don't like,
Yeah, it's
but
bad. But I mean,
the
Clone
Clone
Wars.
Wars,
I mean, Clone Wars is
I,
fantastic. I mean, what year was the first one? I want to say 2008, but
2000,
sorry,
2007. It was
2007.
Came out in
2007.
2000. Are you talking about the original?
Like the original
show?
movie.
No, the
Oh yeah, the
original
original
3D
movie came out in
animated movie was
2008.
2000. It was 2008.
2008. Okay.
I mean, well, there was a 2D show called The Clone Wars, right?
It
Yeah,
was
but that was
yes.
by Genndy Tartakovsky, which is, I do want to talk about it. But he is an excellent. He did Samurai Jack and all that. Like he's one of my
Right.
favorite
And
animators.
I mean, technically, the 2D The Clone Wars show is canon to the 3D Clone Wars show. And I mean, the 2D one only ran for. You can find like the entirety on YouTube, and like the total is like 2 hours worth of content. So it wasn't all that many episodes.
Yeah, it was never meant to be. It was just to be the interim because it came out in between the movies as well, so it was just meant to be
Yes.
an interim thing.
Yeah, because it
And then
covers how Grievous captures Palpatine.
yeah, it has some great animation. Dude, Genndy Tartakovsky, um, people give him his respect. That guy, he has done so much for the animated just shows in general. You want to talk about like Primal, Samurai Jack, um, Symbiotic Teenager Robot or whatever it's called. There's something else,
Yeah,
2003
that
Clone
show. I
Wars.
was gonna bring that show up. That show was super good. Symbionic Titan. Yeah, that show was
They
really
should have
good. It
gotten.
Yeah,
sucks that it got canceled.
I feel
But
like it was too grown up for its time, but they need to bring it
I
back, man.
mean, yeah. I mean, it came out around the same time as regular show, but which I feel like regular show is far more adult than most of the show. Like, because that's what I was gonna
regular
say.
show
I
has
feel like,
so
regular
much
show.
innuendos.
I loved
Yeah.
regular show.
Generator Rex.
yeah, regular show. Was really
Oh,
good.
dude,
Rex.
Generator
Rex
Rex.
was good.
And Generator Rex and the Ben 10 crossover, dude. That right there,
Yeah,
that
that was
Oh,
was
good.
my
Ben
end
10,
game.
of course.
Yeah, that was my end game right there.
I feel like Cartoon Network from like 2000 to maybe like 2012 was just like really good. And I don't watch enough now to say that the stuff they're making now is bad. But like even like I feel like now from the stuff I've seen, I don't think because I've seen a few episodes with Craig of the Creek, and I'm like, I like this. This is nice, you know.
Yeah,
And
It
I know
has
this
an
was kind
art
of a
style I
controversial one,
hate.
and
but
I
like,
have a very controversial opinion on Cartoon Network, but
what's your
we can
controversial
save it if
opinion?
Jakari's still talking. Please, I don't want to cut him off.
I might need
oh,
to
I was just gonna say like. I know for me, like one that came out later in my life that I really enjoyed was Clarence. I know a lot of people didn't like that one, but I like Clarence, We Bear Bears. I really like those ones. I think like I don't think they were like as good as like they. I don't think narratively they were as good, but I think like just for something to put on and like to watch to relax after like getting home from school, I think they were nice. You know,
You guys remember Uncle Grandpa, that show? I used to
I
hate
do.
that show.
I like that one
Any-
also.
Oh, dude,
Terrible.
anytime Uncle Grandpa would come on, I'm like, this feels like a show for people with ADHD and autism. Like, I don't understand anything about this show. I don't
know, man.
understand
I feel
you
like
can like it.
yeah, people,
But that's
but
just
like
me.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I also like Mad TV. That I don't know if you guys remember that show.
Well, see, I love Mad
but
TV. I love Mad TV.
That,
But I
they
did
did
not.
it.
I mean,
Did it right.
so they did like kind of random You just think they did the concept better than Uncle Grandpa, like the whole random
Yeah.
LOL type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
God,
I can live with that.
I'm not a fan of like random LOL stuff.
Right.
But so you didn't like? Did you like Mad TV though,
No, I like Mad TV.
or is that
I
like the
Mad-
exception? Okay.
Yeah, Mad TV. Like I'm not a fan of sketch shows at all, really personally, except
Okay.
for my love, a Black Lady sketch show on HBO Max. I Am a Show.
That show's good.
But
When you say sketch, do you guys remember that sketch show they had Cartoon Network had for a little bit when they were doing like live action stuff?
Cartoon
What was it
Network
called?
Real.
I think it was like a
It was called Cartoon. Oh, that era was called Cartoon
Yeah,
Network
well, it
Real.
was
I
like
thought
a
you were talking
mechanic
about
show.
So Random.
That is
No,
a
that
show.
was Disney.
That's Disney. And it's also live action.
Incredible
so
Crew. Yeah.
it's not
do you guys
cartoon.
remember Build Destroyed?
Destroy,
was
Build,
it?
Destroy? Of
I
course.
do remember
Yeah,
that show.
of
Yes, I
course.
do
That show is great.
remember that. Yes.
Well, this episode's not about
You guys know
Cartoon Network.
A-Train was in a Cartoon Network show?
Yeah. Destroy, Build, Destroy was very famously a live action show because they actually destroyed, built, and destroyed.
Yeah, they did.
Andrew WK.
Yeah.
Andrew WK, he did the soundtrack for that Rage 2 game. That soundtrack is great. The game sucks, but the soundtrack is great.
Didn't his band do a couple theme songs for a couple shows as well?
I think so, but I couldn't tell you which shows.
The episode where they destroyed the Ben 10 car when they did the little Ben 10 live action movie.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, we're talking about live action stuff. Get back on topic.
Can I give
Alex,
my
give yours.
controversial opinion?
Yeah, give your controversial.
I know this is going to give me a lot of hate, but I cannot stand Adventure Time. I think it is the worst show ever made.
Oh! Time for you to go. Honestly, you
Alex,
think
I think my first
Alex,
question
fun.
is
It's
like,
been real, but I'm sorry.
so okay, well, I guess my first question: you dislike Adventure Time, but you like regular show.
Yes. Because Adventure Time
Well, I think not
is
that they're the same thing, but
right. They're very similar. They're two shows based off of like unreal premises, right? But I just
yeah,
I
yeah.
I think the characters in Adventure Time are way too whiny, and the situations that they come up with aren't entertaining and they aren't funny. Whereas regular show, those situations are funny.
Well, Adventure Time isn't meant to be funny. Have you watched Adventure Time past like season 2? Probably not, because
No, because I started it and I
yeah,
said this is terrible, and then I stopped.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man, Adventure Time.
I've watched episodes like throughout. Like if it comes on, like I'll try to watch it, and I just can't. It is like there's way too
suffer through
many.
it.
Huh?
You're like, I'll suffer through it, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean, I try to. I mean, I told this to you the other day. But like, I watch fan films, and I can't like I suffer through fan films. I don't want to watch them, but I know I need to. Um, but it's like I try to suffer through Adventure Time, and I just can't. It's like none of it makes any sense, and it's just not entertaining to me. I mean, I don't know what else to
Yeah.
say.
Oh man, I love Adventure Time,
I think
especially
that
the
was a
stuff.
big yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Chakari.
I was just gonna say that was a big criticism of Adventure Time, as like they would do they do like one or two very narrative heavy episodes too. Oh no, what they would do is they have like one super narrative heavy episode, and then like they wouldn't go back to it until like 6 episodes later. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I remember Adventure Time being criticized heavily for. But I don't know, like in comparison to like, I feel like I like regular show, but I also think it's very whiny. I think, and I know that's kind of the point with Mordecai. Mordecai, especially in those first couple of seasons, he's very annoying. Like him and like, not even just like a part of their character annoying. Him and Rigby are like straight up like these guys are mad, kind of
No, they're devious. They are devious. They are
annoying.
they they are literally.
Skips was cool though.
Mordecai and Rigby are emotional terrorists. Like that's what they are. They're just they're always
I think Rigby gets
confused
better,
before
but like Mordecai just kind of stays that.
oh yeah,
I
Yeah, I
think
Mordecai
Rig-
agree.
just
There's not a lot of
like,
character development.
yeah.
Rigby
Rigby
has
does have
more.
more. Oh sorry.
I think, yeah, Rigby does have more character development, but I think at the end they're at a good place, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that Drakari hit on a
Yeah.
really good point for me, which is the power of episodic storytelling, right? And Adventure Time, like he said, it tries to be episodic and then it also tries to be like overarching narrative at the same time, and it doesn't work. Versus a regular show, which has no interest in being an overarching narrative. Everything is so episodic that that's what makes it better to
In
me.
regular show, but like
Regular show
there's
is
not
literally a show about
like
nothing.
Yeah, that's the point. It's an episodic show
yeah.
about nothing. Like anything that happens in the episode before does not have to come back in any episode in the future. Versus Adventure Time, you have no idea what's important and what's not.
Yeah. I do think
Well,
that helped
everything.
regular show because it did feel cool when stuff came back, like when the basketball dude came back or whatever. I thought like it doesn't make when stuff does come back into play. It's like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, but it's not like it's like intrinsic that you've
It's,
seen that episode, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Except for when
Yeah.
like the head dude's kid tries to kill them, but other than that, yeah.
Something that I think is really important that we haven't talked about goes along with Cartoon Network is Adult Swim. How much
Oh,
Adult
that.
Swim?
Do
Yeah,
you want
I
to
was
explain
gonna
what
get
Adult
to
Swim
that.
is to the audience?
It's like more adult oriented cartoons. So they had
Yeah.
like the Boondocks on there, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I love that
He's
show.
also on Adult Swim.
Black
Yeah.
Dynamite with
Oh, dude.
Billy's.
Yeah.
Oh, let's
Uh
not forget
Black
Space
Jesus.
Coast, Coast to Coast.
oh, and Robot Chicken. I think that's like its most known cartoon. So like Robot Chicken was like the parody,
Yeah, probably.
like the stop motion parody um show that they had.
That's Seth
Yeah.
Green's show, right?
Um,
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure he was like
I think
the showrunner for that.
I'm trying to
I
look up
don't know
something
enough
on it.
about that. Yeah, Adult Swim, and there's eras of Adult Swim. Like when Adult Swim first came out, they had like no budget, so their thing was they would use old
Yeah.
Hanna Barbera animated shows and reanimate over
Yeah.
them, and that's where you get some of my favorite stuff, like Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. And that same era, after that era, you get into Aqua Teen, Hunger Force, Robot Chicken, um, Squidbillies. But something else I really loved was Toonami.
Yes.
Yeah, Toonami was
Toonami
dope.
is like I feel like for a lot of kids our age in our generation, I say, Toonami was so like Toonami is where you saw like your first real anime. But you might have seen anime
Yeah.
inspired stuff
'Cause-
like
yeah.
Teen Titans, like Code Lyoko, like Avatar: The Last Airbender. But when you got to Toonami and you saw Naruto for the first time, Bleach for the first time, um, Dragon Ball Z. Like I grew up with Dragon Ball Z all on VHS, but when I wasn't at my uncle's house, I had to watch it through Toonami.
Yeah, that's where I
It was
found
really
and
like yeah. Yeah, I was
Naruto
just gonna say
was on.
like
Yeah.
Oh, you go first.
No, I was done.
no, I mean I was just gonna say like Toonami was really like at least at that time it was the only place for even like really showing anime because like even like in mid 2000s like if you wanted to watch anime you basically had to like go to your local comic book store, hope they had some DVDs like shipped in from Japan or something like that. And like it was even worse if you wanted to read the manga, like you just like because manga wasn't being shipped over here like that at that time. So really, like Adult Swim was the only way to really like watch. It was the only way to watch like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. I'm trying to remember what else they had. I think that I remember Black Lagoon was one they had. Space Dandy, Attack on Titan. It was really just the only
Cowboy
place to watch any of those shows.
Yeah, Space
Cowboy
Dandy
Bebop,
was a
yeah.
big one. Cowboy Bebop was a really important one for me. Cowboy Bebop is so it is like I love that show. It is what like when I think of anime, it's what I love about it's everything I love about anime. Crazy characters, wacky adventures, but also a really deep and endearing story. Um, God, I
Or
love
sorry, but Samurai Champloo.
Samurai Champloo is another one. Also because I love Nujabes. Um,
Yeah.
God, dude, oh, dude, don't even get me started on that. I never really won Rurouni Kenshin. If you don't know about Rurouni Kenshin, I love
Yeah.
Rurouni Kenshin. It is such a good show. Even the animated movies, um, or not the animated, but the live action movies they have on Netflix are really good too. Like for a live action anime, it's not bad. Yeah, that those are great. What do you guys like? What was like your seminal anime?
I had not seen an anime until probably 4 months ago, so I can't answer
Oh,
that.
Wait,
which one did you see? Because that's a very important question.
Akira.
Okay, that's a good one. I love Akira. It is not my favorite anime movie, but Akira is definitely a good one. That's a good. You've ruined yourself pretty much. It's
That's
gonna
the
be
only thing
hard.
I've seen. That's the only thing I probably will see.
it's taking
That
you
is.
this long to see it.
I don't care for it.
Oh man, you're missing
I
out on some top tier stuff.
Like nowadays, I rarely watch animated content, if at all. I mean, I understand there's a lot of craft and dedication that goes into it, but to me, I don't connect with it as much as if I see an actual person.
That's weird. I'm just gonna tell you that you know that. Yeah, that's weird, man. That's I love like so. Me personally, I almost feel like I can relate to it more when it is animated because there's so much you can do with animated stuff that you can't do in person just because I mean obviously you can put people in weird positions, weird creatures, um really like Princess. So to talk about my favorite anime, Princess Mononoke. It's probably my favorite animated movie ever. I don't know what beats it. Howl's Moving Castle, maybe.
Upon Poppy Hill clears, unfortunately.
You're unfortunately very, very wrong, but you are entitled to your opinion.
You didn't? Did you not like up on Poppy Hill or whatever?
I haven't seen it. I was just joshing you, man. I haven't
No,
seen
I like it a lot. I think it's really good. That's like the first Ghibli film I watched. I think I love that movie so much.
the first one I watched was that one they used to show it on Cartoon Network all the time, and it was called um
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Yep. That one, because that movie creeped me out as a kid and it made me cry. Because I was scared to death of the little black creature thing. Oh, we got to where our parents get turned into pigs. Spoilers for like a 30-year-old movie. But yeah, that one got me. What about you, Ollie? Do you have like a seminal kind of anime?
Is it anime movie or
It can be like seminal anime. Period. It doesn't necessarily have to be a movie. I just chose
I
a movie
guess
for myself.
I guess it would be Naruto because that's like the first long anime that like I've watched through, and like once I like caught up to the dubbed portion, I then caught up to the sub portion and just finished it like every week.
Can I share a hot take about Naruto real quick?
You don't like Naruto, Drakari?
No, I like the original Naruto. Shippuden is fucking ass, doo doo, shit, garbage, butt cheeks.
You
There's
gotta
like
go to.
a co-
You gotta go to.
there's
You gotta go
there's
to.
good moments for sure.
Why is it?
Pain Naruto fight, that's good. Uh, the ending sucks. What is it, Black Zangetsu or whatever. No, that's Bleach. Whatever the ending is, the little alien lady, that's stupid.
Well, that
Rock
goes
Lee never
directly into
becoming the
Boruto.
goat, that's stupid. And Boruto sucks too.
Oh,
Let me talk
I
to
don't disagree.
Okay.
I don't disagree. Boruto sucks. Now that time skip arc, I'm reading the manga. That time skip, that go kind of hard.
Dude,
But
I
Boruto
gave up when
sucks.
they started redoing the movies. So I was just like, yeah, I gave Boruto a shot. Like I got like 60 episodes in and I was like, this water like nation shit sucks, man. But
Yep.
yeah, Shippuden slow, sucks, long, boring.
Well,
Most of the
did you
characters
watch?
don't
You watched
matter.
all the filler episodes. Okay, top. One thing you need to understand about anime is there's filler episodes, especially in long running series. Most famous example, One Piece. Also,
Bleach.
One Piece is trash. Bleach. Attack
I
on
agree with that. One
Titan
Piece is
is
trash.
filled with filler. Um,
Attack on Titan also sucks.
Attack on Titan, bro. Attack on Titan.
Don't you say
No,
Attack
no,
on Titan is good. Attack
The
on Titan
no,
first,
I'm not
is
gonna.
the highest
The
mid.
I
first two
think,
seasons, the
yeah,
first two seasons of Attack on Titan are great, but they've been on the final season. They're on the final season, final chapter, part 4 now, or something like that. And I was like, yo,
It's
just
not
say you
over
wanted
yet. I
to
thought it
make
was over.
six. No, they keep making it's the final season, chapter 4, part or chapter 2, part 4, or something like that. I was like, guys, you could have just made another season of the show. You've been ending the show for 3 years.
Yeah. I will say
God.
that like Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War makes me feel like a fucking kid again, man. That show is so good.
Oh, Chainsaw Man, dude, when that came out, I think yeah, that was this year.
Ass,
Oh, you're
mid,
wrong. You're
garbage.
wrong. Oh god, the animation of that show is so good. God, I love the animation in that
You
show.
like? Are you being unironic? You actually like Chainsaw Man?
Dude, I love Chainsaw Man.
It's good. I like
I
it too.
love the animation of that show, and I like the characters too.
But I'm not talking about the animation. I'm talking about the show itself. Do you like the story of Chainsaw Man?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
hey,
Okay.
hey,
You
you're
can't you can't say anything, Chikari. You like Clarence.
facts,
Okay. Listen.
facts.
I know what Clarence is. Clarence. I know what Clarence is. Chainsaw Man is definitely trying to be something it's not. The story is he likes boobies. Like that. If
Okay,
you
that's
spoiler
coming from
alert for
somebody.
Chainsaw
That's coming
Man.
from somebody who definitely did not watch the show and definitely has not read the manga because you don't know what you're talking about, son.
I have
Son,
watched the show. I watched like the
no, I'm
first
about to
part.
stun you, bro.
It's
I'm
just
about to
he
stun
likes
you.
boobies.
No, that's not the whole point of the
He
show.
likes boobies and he wants to have sex with that one girl. That's the show. And he's
God,
horny.
no,
That's
you don't
Chainsaw Man.
understand. You don't understand.
He grew up alone. He never had sex, and now what's the pink hair girl? She was like, you can touch my boobies if
She
you
won't.
work for us or whatever.
God, okay, so you're like the first. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. First off, he's just like me for real. That's number one. Number two, you have no idea what you're talking about. I know Alex's eyes are rolling in the back of his head because he's like, I have no idea what's going on right
I've seen some like animation breakdown of Chainsaw Man, and it looks okay. It looks like every other like 3D animation that's painted to look 2D. It's close, but it's not there.
now. Oh, it's all hand drawn.
No, it's not.
Oh, no, okay, I should say it's not all hand drawn. There are some 3D. Um, there are 3D elements, but for the most part, some that studio still is hand drawn animation. They do. You know the best 3D, like something that went from 2D to 3D, is that Dragon Ball Z movie that came out last year. Did
I
you
don't
guys see that?
at
I,
all.
I
I did not see superheroes. I know Orange
uh,
Piccolo showed up, and that was crazy.
oh, first off, I watched that movie in the 4D theater, man, and I was getting literally thrown around. I walked out with a headache. But I love that. It's basically that the way they animated it is like, what if you took the Dragon Ball Z video game and made it real? Kind of looks like a mix between Kakarot and Fighters Z. If you know what those are, for people who don't know, those are Kakarot is an RPG in the Dragon Ball Z universe, and Fighter Z is a 2D fighting game. It's like 2.5D. Um, Great adaptations of the art style, both of them. So if you look at gameplay of those two games, it looks just like the movie. Like it looks, they translate the 2D to the 3D so well. It's like, I honestly, if you remade all of the Dragon Ball 3D animated in this style, I wouldn't even be mad. It'd probably look better.
Well, I
But
have two statements. Well, I have a statement and a question to ask about uh, Chainsaw Man,
yes, what
if
is
I
your
can make
statement
that
and
real
your
quick.
question?
The statement is Fubuki clears Makima easily, and the question is, do you think One Punch Man is better than Chainsaw Man, or no? You think Chainsaw Man is better than One
I
Punch
think the
Man?
No.
first season of One Punch Man is very well animated, and then and then the season two of One Punch Man is like not as good.
I think One Punch Man is better.
But I can live with him. I can live with that statement.
I'll allow
Fubuki clears, unfortunately, though. So
Okay.
it. But those are all good shows.
Alex,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
have you watched King of the Hill?
I have not.
The American anime.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, and like that type of content, King of the Hill, Simpsons, Family Guy, like I've seen any of that. I haven't seen South Park, like none of that stuff is.
Hey, I don't get South Park. I know it's just a me thing. I don't really get what people like about it. Um, my girlfriend loves South Park. I'm like, I don't know why you like this. It seems so juvenile to me, but people like it, man. Don't know for what reason.
Um, I think because a lot of people think it's like the last bastion of edgy comedy, which isn't true, but a lot of people still see South Park as this like they'll say the thing that other media won't say, and not that it's trying to be like conservative media because I don't think it is, but that's definitely how the show portrays itself as like we're gonna say this thing that other shows won't say, which is a weird hill to die on for a show, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. Hey, if you like it, you like it, but I don't get it, man. So you said, Alex, you said you don't go watch that type of animated content. You don't watch really much anything animated nowadays, do
I'm
you?
trying to think of all the things that I watch that are animated. Um, eh, I mean, the last thing that I watched, or I am still watching the Harley Quinn show because I do really enjoy that. Um, I think the animation is better than a lot of other things are. Um, and I also just like the story concept. And then besides that, I mean, I watched Hit Monkey, which was okay. I mean, I loved Modoc. Modoc on Hulu, hilarious, which is stop motion animation, and it's done so well. Um, and then I'm trying to think what else. I mean, probably before that, I watched the last season of Young Justice, and I really can't think of anything else that I'm watching that's animated.
Mm.
And I just started that Harley Quinn show as well. I really like it.
Yeah, and I like it because it's so funny, not because of the animation. But the animation
Yeah.
is pleasing, and so that it's not hard to watch. And so I think that distinction should be made is that I do I don't mind animation all that much. I do think it's easier to connect with another human being on the screen, like I've said, but I think that if the story itself is entertaining or engaging, then I can generally give something a pass for being animated.
I can't do such a thing. Oh man, Harley Quinn show, dude. I don't know how you do it.
Well, I think the big thing that
No, just
people don't understand about the Harley Quinn show is that it is a complete parody of everything DC. And so I think people are going into it hoping for it to be like Batman the Animated Series or something like that, where like it's so faithful. And it is faithful, but it's faithful in the complete opposite direction. And so I can appreciate the amount of time and effort that these people go in to understand these characters and then make a complete parody of them. Because if they didn't understand it, the parody would make no sense.
I guess, dude. I can't. Anytime I see a clip of that show, I'm like immediately like, oh, why is
uh,
this on my For You
give it a
page?
chance, man. Just give it a chance. Have you seen Barbie?
I've tried. I don't. I'm not going to go see Barbie, dude. Like I'm not gonna do it because I know. First off, I'm not in this space to watch that type of movie because I know I'm gonna go into it and I'm gonna be like, this is pissing me off. I don't want to watch this because I just don't like those type of movies
I don't like women,
overall.
is what you're saying.
Oh well, if that's what you want to say, I was gonna. You know what? You're not wrong. You're not
Oh
wrong.
well, leave that in.
Leave that in. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that type of content. I'm sorry, it's not for me. But I don't like parody shows all that much. Period. Really.
Hmm.
I know this is live action, but how do you feel about like the Eric Andre show being a parody of talk shows?
I felt like the first season of Eric Andre, where people weren't as in on the joke, was much better than the current seasons. Because now that people are in on the joke, I'm
Well,
just
they're
like,
not
oh,
in
it's
the
not
joke. The
as
whole
fun.
thing is Eric Andre says that like it's getting harder and harder to make the seasons because they specifically make sure that their guests don't know what the show is, and as it has more and more popularity, it's harder to find people like that. But
Yeah,
um, I mean, it's still made with people who don't know what's happening. Like they might be told a couple things, but they really don't know all the way through. And so I still think that it holds up. But I want to get off the live action for a moment. Sorry for bringing that
yeah.
up anyway.
No, it makes sense. Like, I like sketch shows, and really that there's really like I was never big into SNL. I did like Matt TV on like when the animated version of Matt TV, not the live action one. That I'm pretty sure Jim Carrey is from that, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, that's it for me in terms of that type of content.
To
Yeah,
to get us back on track, Alex, you said you watched like like animated shows, right?
I did. And that is
So
primarily
like
what I watched that was animated.
so like Batman, the animated series, like the Justice League
Yeah.
stuff. Um, did you watch any of the DC movies, the
Oh, yeah.
animated movies?
Yes, I have seen all of the DC animated universe movies. Um, and I do think that a lot of what I can give a pass to if it's animated is if it's of superhero content, because that is just something I really enjoy. And so I know that it's not going to be made in live action. And so if I want to watch it, I will watch it in animation. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say something. Um, I'm going to take that statement back. I think that superhero content works for me in animation because it's so similar to comics. And um, it is a closer adaptation to comics in like an animated and drawn style than it is in a live action adaptation. And so a lot of the stuff I watch is all, or not all, but a lot of the stuff I watch is superhero content.
Okay,
Oh, another
that
show
makes
that I'm
sense.
watching. I'm excited for Invincible season 2,
yeah, I'm
I
excited
think
for
we
that
all.
one.
which is another superhero content on Amazon Prime. Right. But when it comes to other stories like Naruto or Dragon Ball, like it doesn't seem interesting to me, and so I just cannot get myself to start it.
How long is this
Uh,
episode so far? Just I
it's
know
been
before.
about 58 minutes.
Okay.
Mm,
Do you
yeah,
have
we're
anything
going
else
pretty.
for us, Jason? Do you have any other questions for us, Jason?
Yeah. Gosh, do I have any more questions for you guys?
I'm going to
Um,
be right back, but you guys keep going.
well, I'll save my question for Trakari. I know you
I mean, I
guys
can just
don't
answer it
like.
real quick before I go.
No, it's gonna be a long one.
How long do we want this episode to be?
Uh, when do you guys want to cut it off? The only last thing I have to discuss is kind of what are you guys' opinion on the modern animated movies that have been coming out recently?
I haven't seen
Like
him.
well, that's not true because you've seen Into the Spider
Okay, that's
Verse.
true. Yes, yes, that's true. Into the Spider
Have you
Verse.
not
Um,
seen
That's the only.
I haven't
Kung
seen
you have
Mutant
Kung Fu
Mayhem.
Panda 3.
Kung Fu
Um,
Panda, of course. No,
yeah, How to
I
Train Your
haven't seen
Dragon
Mutant
movies.
Mayhem, which is the TMNT movie that just came out, right?
you did see it?
No, have not.
Oh man, you're missing out. That movie's excellent, top tier,
Um,
top tier right there.
but I mean, I don't know. It's. I know a lot of people might come to the conclusion for what I'm saying that I think animation is childish, but I don't think that, right? I want to make sure that is a clear distinction. It's just not something that I particularly look for when I'm looking for something.
Mm.
And so when it
Okay.
comes to movies that have come out, I've gone to see pretty much everything else that's come out, like Mission Impossible, Transformers, Fast and Furious, Asteroid City, like all of those movies that have come out recently. I've gone to see those. I just haven't gone to see any of the animated ones.
Because you hate animated content.
I don't hate animated content. I just prefer live action over animated.
Yeah, I mean that's perfectly reasonable. I think that's why I kind of feel like that drought of animated content that was coming out like in the early 2000s. I mean, not to say that your opinion is wrong or anything like that, but I had kind of like mentality where everybody was like, what was it? What was the live action mixed with animation? Like we had the Looney Tunes movie and the Alvin and the Chipmunks. Um, those were CG characters, but that's still an animated property. Like that era, I dislike it so much just because I don't think stuff was as good as we have now. Um, I do think the future of animated content is looking bright with stuff like Into the Spider Verse. Into the Spider Verse being the first one to really break away from the traditional mold and do something that's better and cooler than we've kind of been getting.
Yeah, I think the storytelling and visually it is a lot better.
Yeah, that movie just does so much so right that I'm almost kind of sad that they take so long to make. But I understand that they take long to make because I don't know about you. I don't want hot garbage.
Yeah.
I
But
don't want.
it will never beat Rango. You
Oh,
don't even.
Durango's great.
Have you seen Rango, Alex?
I saw it once and it was so long ago that I cannot remember any of it, but I remember not necessarily like wanting to see it again.
Oh man,
What?
Rango's great.
Rango is a beautiful movie. It's, it's you
I
remember?
definitely should see it again. It's on Netflix, right?
I'm not sure, but it's yeah. What is going on?
I think it
Um,
is on. It is
it's
on
on.
Netflix.
And that Rango is the animated movie about the lizard or gecko, voiced by Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah,
He,
Okay.
he gets like stranded in the desert and finds this little town, becomes sheriff and all that.
it's
is it
so
like
good.
Cars?
Kind of low key.
Oh, a little. Cars is more of a redemption story. Rango is more like finding your place in the
In the
world.
world. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I will definitely give it another shot.
Yeah, you said that. I think I know it's kind of hard to watch lots of animated content just because. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Bless
So
you.
much of it is. Thank you. So much of it is focused towards kids. But I feel like we're in this kind of new era because of streaming services of adult animated content. I feel like we're really going to see like a lot cooler stuff coming out.
Right. And
And
oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying you shouldn't miss out on it because so much of it is great.
Right, right. And I am looking forward to what is it? Batman: The Cape Crusader. Um,
If that ever comes out.
no, it is. It is. It's Amazon Prime is doing it now. I don't know how they were able to get the rights from Warner Brothers, but Amazon Prime is doing it now. Um, and so I am excited for that, which is a continuation of Batman the Animated Series, which I think we talked about this earlier today, but that was my first introduction to Batman, and pretty much a lot of superhero content was through the animated series. Um, and so, I mean, yeah, that one's coming out soon, and so I am extremely excited for that. But I'm excited for it, I think, for the content, not for the animation.
Isn't Bruce Tim doing that though?
It's him in conjunction with Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams, who J.J. Abrams is an established director for Star Wars, Star Trek, all kinds of stuff, Lost, and then Matt Reeves did Cloverfield, Planet of the Apes. He most recently did The Batman. So, like, they are all really good directors and story writers coming together to make this one project. So I'm extremely excited about that.
Okay.
That might be interesting. But I think that's all that we might have for today, guys. Is there anything else that you guys would like to add?
I guess what we're excited for. Um,
Oh yeah, hit me up. What are you excited for?
um, I don't think it's been announced yet, but another season of oh damn, Young Justice.
They're not doing
Yeah,
that.
Um,
They've canceled it.
they canceled it.
Yes. Warner Brothers has officially said that Young Justice is canceled.
Oh damn.
yeah.
I,
Nobody was watching it, man.
Yep. It takes too long and costs too much for the audience that they're bringing in, so they canceled it.
Which is crazy because it really is better than a lot of
But,
the
I mean, Phantoms
other.
was by far the worst season. Like, by
yeah,
far the worst season.
I
I
don't
don't
think they
even
should
disagree with you.
on a bad note with Phantoms, but hey, not my money.
Yeah.
No, I guess it is my
Seems like
money.
nobody's money.
It's my
Nobody
money.
was watching it. Yeah, but it is your money. But it seems like nobody else was watching it. So
But, I mean,
Yeah.
Invincible, that's coming out. I'm excited for.
I'm excited for the bull. I'm gonna watch it, of course.
Yeah. I don't know. What are you excited for, Jason?
That's the hard part for me because I don't know really what's all. If there's a lot for me right now, it's so much that's coming out is so just not my type of style of thing. Um, God, we have what's coming out. What's coming out that I will probably most definitely watch.
Harley Quinn.
It's currently
No.
coming out. I mean, they've still got episodes.
Yeah, I'm not watching it, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No amount of anything is gonna get me to watch that. Dang, man, I really don't know what's coming up that I wanting to watch because I think I've watched all that I've seen. Let me pull up animated movies coming out because I'm probably forgetting one. 2024. Let's see. Da-da-da. Oh, they're making Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths. I don't count Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I'm actually really excited for that, but I don't think that's going to count because it is live
Yeah, it's
action
live action. Yeah.
also. I'm not going to count that as well. But dude, the Sonic movies, great. Um, doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I'm looking at the list for 2024, and there's not much I'm interested in. Let's see what's on the rest of the list for 2023. Um, Gosh, man, yeah, nothing I care about.
Dave Filoni's next season of Rebels. Oh wait, sorry, it's called Ahsoka now.
God. Oh yeah, does that come out tomorrow? Are any of y'all watching that?
Yeah, it comes out Wednesday, the 23rd of August. I will watch it, but I will begrudgingly be watching it because I think that Dave Filoni should let Ahsoka be. and come up with a new character for once.
Well, he tries, but none of his new characters succeed.
I mean, the Mandalorian succeeds.
Yeah, but wasn't the Mandalorian Jon Favreau?
It was both of them
Or
together.
let's see, my animated movie I'm interested in seeing is untitled Pixar film 2026.
Elementals 2.
Elementals 2. Modern Pixar sucks. So, God, dude, Pixar sucked for a long time. Everybody, let's be for real.
Yeah, I was disappointed with Buzz Lightyear. Or just Lightyear, I
I,
guess is what it's called.
I was disappointed with everything that Pixar has released post when I was 6 years old. So,
That's a lot of good stuff that you're okay.
yeah, like what? Like what, man? Like what?
Incredibles 2. Is that Pixar? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
yeah, that's Incredibles 2 is
Yeah,
It's not as
it
good
was
as the
okay.
first
It was not as good as the first one. That's true.
What about Up?
Yeah, what about it?
Up is fantastic.
Yeah, like you said, yeah.
What about Wall-E?
What about it? Yeah, what
Wall-E?
about him? What about
You,
him? What about him? What about him, man?
My
bro,
God.
when I find you, I'm gonna hurt you so bad.
Bro, go for it. Go for it, man.
All right. Should we end the episode here?
We're ending it right now, right here, y'all.
Okay,
This
next
has
week.
been
Oh, yeah. Go
oh,
ahead. Go. It's yours. It's
all
yours.
right. This has been the OTOT podcast coming out with you with an episode about kind of our cartoon shows that we like growing up, cartoon content we like growing up, our favorite shows and all that. Next week we'll be talking about what, Alex?
Next week, we're just going to be giving you kind of an update of what we're watching, whether that's movies, TV, listening to via music or podcasts, and like maybe games we're playing, just giving you an update of what we think is worth our time and kind of giving you some recommendations of what you should be spending your time with.
Yeah, and guys, please check us out on. We're pretty much on everything now, man. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts at. I'm not missing any services, right?
We are on
Threads.
Instagram and Twitter and Threads at
Yeah,
OTOT Pod.
we are on Threads.
Yeah,
Please
so
follow us on Threads.
in terms of our podcast, you can get these on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, on Amazon Music, and on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, and that's been OT podcast, man. Our thoughts on this.
Thanks for
Yeah.
listening.
All right, bye.
All right, love you.